Jump scare. Hey, hi, hey. How's it going? Whiskey was complaining that he wanted a cuddle. And so I picked him up. And now he's decided that he wants to go on the floor. You're fickle. He's very fickle. This is your dose of whiskey. Yep. There we go. So hi. Hey. Nice to see you. We're going to do story time. Now, I don't actually know what the rules are. So I don't know if I would have gotten in trouble for reading like a new novel. So I found a hella old book called The Golden Pheasant, which is originally published in 1932. So I'm hoping two things. I'm hoping that first of all, it's not like horribly sexist and racist, but I'm also hoping that I don't get in trouble for reading it because it's so old, and I just assume that anybody who wrote it now is dead. I think that's fair. Sorry if you're watching and you wrote this book. My apologies. So let's see how we go. Shall we? The Golden Pheasant. I'm so sleepy. So first published in 1932. This one was printed in Great Britain. Hi, Donny baby. So nice to see you. How are you, Donny? Stop digging. Really nice to see you, Donny. How you doing? Is it the cat? Are you getting the cat tonight, Donny? Or are you getting the cat tomorrow? I'm so excited. Cat. I'm really excited. We'll see how it goes. I'm well, I hope you're well. I have the cat now. How is the cat, Donny? I'm okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm okay. She's my best friend in the world. Donny, that makes me so happy. I'm so glad. Have you been giving her dreamies? What's she like? It's just you and me right now, Donny. I'm so glad. That's fantastic. She's a needy baby. She spent the evening crying to be stroked. That's perfect. That's what you want. That's what I would want anyway. That's such good news. I'm so happy, Donny. Excellent. You're a big baby, but you don't want cuddles. For some reason, doesn't want cuddles. But you're a big baby. I'm so happy, Donny. That's great news. Let me read to you and your cat, Don. Hopefully you and your cat can have a nice time together. Now, I also don't know what this book is about, so we'll soon find out. Chapter 1. Do I hold it up here? Does that make me look more dignified? Emerging from the building that had guided his destiny for years, had fed and clothed and used him, Pendred Rushbrook halted on its step and gazed at the moving pattern woven by the immense traffic of Whitehall. But though he gazed and continued to do so with what he had the appearance of intensity, he was little conscious of impressions from without. The feeling that drifted over him above the racket of intricate noise and colour was simple and engrossing. He was realizing that through an impoverished man he was above all things a free one. Fiery, hello Bobby. Hello. Hey, nice to see you. How are you? So nice to see you, Fiery, my love. How are you doing? Fitzy, hello baby. Great to see you. And Claire, evening lovely, how are you? I'm good, thank you, baby. How are you? I'm so tired, but I'm good, thank you. Hiya Floss, how you doing, pal? I'm doing good, Eric. We're gonna try reading a book that's called The Golden Pheasant, so everyone can have a nice relaxing time. It was originally published in 1932, so I'm hoping that thematically it's not dog shit, but we'll just skip any bits that seem awful. Oh, it's so nice to see you. I'm good, thank you, Claire. How are you? Good evening, Chrissy. How are you, Chrissy, my love? Really nice to see you, Chrissy. How you doing? Hello, Nuka. Oh, Nuka Bobby. I'm so happy to see you, Nuka. How are you doing? Are you packing? Are you getting everything ready? Nuka, that's wonderful. Chrissy says, Nuka, hiya butts. And Nuka says to Chrissy, Sapnin butts. Fieri says, I'm well. Just had a delicious bath. Oh, fantastic, Fieri. Eric says to Chrissy, you can't go around. Eric says to Chrissy, you can't go around asking people about their butts. Wink. Claire says, good. Back from swimming, just out of a shower. That's excellent. That's excellent, Claire. I hope you feel great after your swim. Well done for swimming. Nuka says, moi. Moi, Nuka. Chrissy says to Eric, it's Welsh term you say to mates, so you won't have heard it. Oh. Nuka says, I've been playing the Division 2 with the missus. Is that a game, Nuka? I hope it's a game. It sounds nice. Nuka is redeemed. Blow me a kiss. Okay. Nuka's redeemed a kiss. This is for Nuka only. If you're not Nuka UK, you walk away. It's not for you. A little something special for Nuka. I love you. This is for you. There you go, Nuka. I hope you liked it. Thank you for your attention. Whiskey sounds like he's having a lovely scratch or shake. He was having both, Eric. Are you done now, baby? You still want attention? Do you want a cuddle? Because I picked you up before and you just wanted to be put back down. Here we go. Shall we try again? We're going to try again. Fieri gives Nuka a little heart. Nuka says, it's a game where there's a global pandemic and lots of people died and the world descended into lawlessness, and where division agents are trying to keep the world from falling apart further. Sounds like a good game, Nuka. Zactopus, hi Zachy. It's so great to see you, Zach. Thanks for being here, buddy. How are you? Say hi to Zactopus. Hello. Hello, Zactopus. Really nice to see you, mate. Fieri redeemed, take a wet drink, you're looking dusty. I don't know if I have any drink here. I might have to go and get drink. I might have to go and get some drink. I might have to go and get some. Devastating. I'll go and fetch some, thank you, Fieri. Eric says, noise. Eric says, Nuka, a pandemic, lovely escapees. Escapism, bloody mobile keyboard. Hello, Mr. Von Crumb, says Eric says hello. Eric said hello to you. He doesn't care. Zactopus, I had my second jab today. Nice one, Zachy. That's great news. Excellent. Nuka says, I love escape pajamas. We love PJs. I got into my PJ special for this stream. I'm feeling tired to know if it was the jab. I'm also really tired, but it might have been the jab, Zachy. Our lovely Chrissy Shreds had both jabs and felt a little bit dodgy the day after each of them, so it might be the jab. David Shutter says, wow, that's one fanciest up. Thank you, David Shutter. It's actually my pajamas. Thank you so much for saying. And hello, David Shutter. Hello to David Shutter only. I've not done onlys for anyone yet. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. We'll start from the beginning, shall we? Let's start from the beginning. You settle down, baby boy. And let's go and have a look. We've got hello to Donnie, hello to Don Diaper only, but not only, because also to hello to Donnie's new little cat. Hello to Donnie and cat. Hello to Fairy Squirrel. Hello to Fairy Squirrel only. Hello to Fairy. How are you? Thank you for being here. And we've got Claire. Hello to Andiris. Hello to Andiris only. Hi, Claire. Hello, Fitzy. Hello to Eric Fitzgerald, 1988 only. How are you? Nice to see you. Hello to little baby lover Chris Shredded only. Hello, Chrissy Lou. How are you? Hello to Nuki UK only. Hello. Hello to who have we got next? We've got Zactopus. Hello to Zactopus only. Thanks for being here, Zaki. I really hope you're well. Did you and your partner move? Were you talking about moving? Were you talking about moving in the future, or have you done it, or are you going to do it? How is everyone? Okay. I'm really sleepy, but I'm good. I just got home from work. It was a long day, but I'm good. Nuka says to Chrissy, I just started the hardcore permadeath character. Ooh, wowza. Chrissy says to Zactopus, congrats on jab 2. I hope you feel better soon. I hope so too. David says to Zactopus, that's great news about your jab. You'll be fully 5G compliant in no time. That's very good, David Shutter. Hello to David Shutter, David Shutter, David Shutter, David Shutter, David Shutter, David Shutter only. Nice to see you, David Shutter. Yeah, I've got my Bill Gates, David. Dirty Frog. Hello, Graham. Hello to Graham only. No, I don't have any of my vaccinations. It's Zactopus who has had both vaccinations. I've had none. Your pajamas are top tier. Thank you, Fieri. Polly says hi. Yes, that's amazing. Zactopus has redeemed a theme for a song, Crochet Creatures Cruising. Crochet Creatures Cruising. My gosh. Okay. Okay. Sounded like a trumpet for a second there. Hang on one second. Hey, Bite My Thumb. Thanks for the raid. Oh, wowza. Thanks so much, buddy. So nice to see you. How are you, Bite My Thumb? Hello, hello. Great to see you, mate. How you going? I haven't moved, nah. Hey, Creamy DJP and Ham Soup. Hello to Creamy DJP and Ham Soup only. Hello, Creamy. How you doing, buddy? So nice to see you. Claire's lurking. Gonna make some food. I'd be moving on my own, but I want to visit places first. Nice, Zaki. Like Glasgow is appealing, but I've never been there. Yeah, that's a good idea, Zaki. You gotta visit first. David says to Nuka, in a way, aren't we all hardcore permadeath characters? That's really deep, David, and I think you're right. That's really cool of you to say. I imagine them cruising about in a car. case octopus. I'll work on it. Convertible with the top down, says Zaki. Ooh. Hello Raiders, thank you for the raid, Bite My Thumb. How are you? How was your stream? Good, thanks, hope you're well. I am well, thank you. Hello Monkey Boy, how are you doing, buddy? Hi. Smiley Virus says you're allowed to book your jab on the website as soon as it's announced. Yes, I have to register for a new doctor because I just moved. You're allowed. I'm great. How are you doing? I'm good, thank you. I'm sleepy. But after we do this song for Zaki, I'm going to do the book. Hello to Monkey Boy only. Hey Monkey Boy, how you doing, buddy? Hello Stephen Plays Games. Hello to Stephen Plays Games only. Great to see you, Stephen. Thanks so much for being here. Nice to see you, buddy. How you going? Actually, I have a plaster on my leg that I'm scared to remove because it's going to take some hair with it and sting a bit. Maybe I'm not all that hardcore after all. But it won't cause permadeath, David Shatter. It won't cause permadeath, so it's okay. Jesus, should I get a grip? Graham, I actually used you as a selling tool the other day. There's this guy who keeps coming into the shop for like literally everything that he needs, and he was buying a gift for his mate who was turning like 45, and he couldn't find anything that he wanted to get his mate, so I said you should get him a car because I watched my friend stream putting this car together and he had a fucking meltdown, and it looks like a great present for a 44-year-old. If you have an NHS number you can just book it a centre, no need for a doctor. Oh, I didn't know that, Smiley. That's great, thank you. It might cause permadeath, but we may never know. At a centre, rather. I don't think it's through a GP. Yeah, Flossie. I thought it was. That's good news. Excuse me, I'm 43. How very dare you? Calm down. I didn't say that you were 44. I said that you struggled with the Lego. Okay? I did no lying. There's no lying. Okay? Go on the NHS website when your age is eligible. I think 30-year-olds might be eligible now. So I could get the good stab. I love a good stab. Okay, we've got to do a song about crochet creatures cruising. Itty bitty babies made out of string that's knotted, and they've got their license cruising round the town. Little bitty bodies made out of string that's knotted, cruise around the town in their convertible. Little bitty babies made out of string that's tied into knots, running just slightly over the speed limit, but not so much that it's unsafe. Just a little bit over the limit, so it's a little bit fun but always safe. Little crochet babies cruising around the town trying to find some chickies and other non-binary babes. Little bitty babies, crochet babes, slide around the neighborhood, doing donuts in the parking lot. Little crochet creatures going to all the protests, fighting down the police, setting fire to police stations, cruising around. Little crochet creatures. I hope that you liked that, Octopus. I hope that was fun. I'm alright, back to work Friday and got my vaccine shot next week. That's great news, Stephen Plays Games. How are you doing? I'm good. I'm really good. I'm supposed to be reading you guys a story. I'll get to that. Just slightly, because of their soft shoes. Crochet squishy feet. This is amazing. Beautiful, thank you. Sound more like crochet hooligans. Little crochet creatures cruising to a neighborhood near you. Hello, Seaweed, my babe. I feel like I've not seen you in ages. How are you today, Seaweed? Great to have you, my bud. Hey. Oh, I have to go and get some water, don't I? I have to go and get some water so that I can do a wet drink. Stephen plays games as redeemed, try and raise an eyebrow. I would gladly do this. So it's gonna be particularly hard for me because last night I tripped up the stairs in the garden of the house that I live and I face planted into the table. And you can't see anything, but I have this huge lump on my face because I smacked into the table. I scratched the glasses I was wearing, but I don't have a black eye, so I can't even complain about having a sore head because there's no visible remnants. So I'm going to be raising an eyebrow, but if it's really shit, I'm going to blame that. Just so you know, I'll have an excuse if it's awful. Okay. Was there drink involved? No, I was totally sober. I'm just a dumb bitch. Totally sober. Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. It's been a while. I'm doing well. About to head out to the sunshine for a few minutes. That's great, Seaweed. Thanks for coming to say hi. Yes. I think I'm doing pretty well. I think I did a good job. Yikes, that sounds nasty. It hurt a lot, but it's totally fine. I think the most important question is, was it funny? It was really funny, David Shutter. It was extra funny because as I stacked up the step and face planted into the side of the outdoor set, and I knocked over the table and the chairs, they went flying across the yard. As it happened, someone inside had just told a joke, so nobody even heard it happen. And I was just sitting on the floor outside, crying and laughing, and just nobody knew. It was very funny when I went back inside. It was very funny. Creamy DJ P and Ham Suit redeemed a yeehaw. Yeehaw! Thank you so much for your redemption, Creamy. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I just got smacked in the face with a plastic stud on a bag right in the fucking eye and it bled. Had a black eye, was pretty painful. Yeah, see, mine didn't bleed and I don't have a black eye, so maybe I'm just being a little wussy, sulky baby. Wouldn't be the first time. Let's do some reading. Move to the first page. Immobile amid the dissolving scene, he stood unable to shake off the spell of emotion that held him there. But awakening at last to the discordant clamours of the street, he slowly descended the steps and turned in the direction of Pall Mall. The long trance of the war was over. Of his wounds, the least disabling had been received by his body. The crippling were those that had bruised the spirits. The damage to faith, loss of friends, the puerile cruelty, the squandered precious years, the long nights of blackness in which sacrifice shone like the stars, everlasting points of light illuminating nothing. Yes, his spirit still bled unhealed. He strode along, a very negotiable figure, making the inevitable impression on passers-by that preoccupation or character or intensity in any form invariably attracts to itself. Well, ambition might be the golden thread in the web of life, or it might be a lure. What mattered was that he was free to cast his bread upon the waters. Since so much else was lost, mere material impoverishment seemed to matter little beside such assets as health and liberty. He was afraid of love and could not afford to marry. Art will not serve two masters. Besides, he rides best with those who ride alone. He thought of Canning's steer who had married a model. She no longer sat for him, but she warmed his slippers, washed his brushes, made a good omelette and kept out of Steer's way, and Steer was happy. It was the only marriage possible for an artist, according to Steer. Painters were queer fish and made bold assumptions in the sphere that had always been governed by tacit codes. Is any of this not okay? I don't know whether the language is okay. It was a few years ago. What book is this? It's The Golden Pheasant. I've never read it before. It's from 1930. I just assumed that I wouldn't get in trouble if it was a really old book. Rushbrook was not an artist in any of the accepted interpretations of a word that modern use and the cant that is not entirely modern had provided with new elasticities. But all said and done, what was an artist if not a member of the spiritual fraternity to which all honest-minded men belonged, who worked with a single mind for a single purpose towards a single goal? What is amounted to what was that art was life, and what you did with the one or the other was co-equal in the final test. He supposed Canning Steer's matrimonial theories were something more than a convenient hypothesis, since so far he, Rushbrook, was able to discern that marriage really did work quite admirably. Along with his misgivings, the crude fact that his income since the war had been whittled to a figure only just within the range of his necessities and vocation, he had lately been visited with the unaccountable nostalgias. Katie Pritchard! Sacre bleu! Fucking look at this! Hello, Katie Pritchard, my love. So nice to see you, Katie. Hello to Katie Twitchard only. How are you, Katie Twitchard? So nice to see you. How are you doing, Leda Lindsay? Hello, Leda Lindsay. Hello to Leda Lindsay only. Really great to see you, Leda Lindsay. How you doing, buddy? Your mullet looking fresh. Thank you so much for saying so, Stephen Plays Games. Thank you. I've been thinking about trimming it. I need to give it a good trim. Oh, hello, Holly, my darling love. Hello to Holes_79 only. Hello, Holly. It's so nice to see you. How are you doing? How are you, Katie? What were you doing today? Thanks so much for being here, for bringing all your buddies over. We were just doing some little gentle, soft story time. Normally I'm drawing. Normally we're drawing and chatting, but we thought today we'd do some story time. Wowzers trousers. Thanks, Katie. What are you wowzers trousering? Hi, Maggie Poos. How you doing, buddy? Hello to Maggie Poos only. How you doing? We just put some big brand brass over Wonderwall. That's fantastic. That's really great. Storytime is great. Good, Katie Twitchard. It's going to be very different. It's not what we normally do here. This is the first time we're trying it. Smiley Virus says, is it mean to curse Katie on her first raid? I think so. I think it is mean to curse Katie on her first raid. Katie's never even seen mild curses. We can't mildly curse Katie. What story were you telling? It's a really old book. It's called The Golden Pheasant. I don't know what it's about, but it was just originally published in 1930, and I thought that it would be safer to read something old than to read something new, because I don't want to get, I don't want some rich author coming and setting my house on fire because I'm reading their book. What story were you telling? Lol. Lol, says Katie. No curse, Katie. Do it, do it. That's the date of my house. Boo. Okay, Holes, it is then. Should we curse Katie? Katie, are you up for cursing? Do you feel like you have the space in your life to be cursed? Because I can draw out a greatest hits curse for Katie. Brazil. Brazil, hi. Hello, Brazil Arts by Fino. Nice to see you. How are you doing today? Do authors really not like people reading their books on streams? Zactopus, I might have made it up. I was just worried. I was just worried. I'm very happy to switch to a better book like this book here. Crash. I love this book. This book is fantastic. It's super weird and I really love it. We can swap to this if you like. I'd be happy with that. Do it, Steve. Okay, we'll swap to this then. We're gonna curse Katie. Oh no, Katie Twitchard, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Katie. I bestow unto thee the following curses. Katie Twitchard. It is going to be a greatest hits because I don't want to like personally attack you. Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee the curse of every mug you use having a hairline fracture and it leaks on your desk. Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee the curse of all of your layering on, what's the program called? Starts with an A. It's not audible. This curse has gone to hell. I bestow unto thee the curse of all your beats being half a I can't do music. I'm not smart. I can't do it. Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee every time you open your front door, a gust of wind brings in a stranger's hair all over your house every time you open the door. Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee that every satsuma you try to eat is weirdly dry and bitter, even though they feel like they're going to be juicy because they've got that slightly loose skin. Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee the curse of every time you use a pen and you put it near your mouth, the ink explodes and you end up with a black mouth, but you don't realise. So somebody else has to tell you and it's very embarrassing. Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee of the curse of all the invisible hems dropping. Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee the curse of every Tupperware lid that you think is going to match the Tupperware bottom is just slightly off and you are sort of absent-mindedly trying to put the lid on, and so you force it and then you realise that it doesn't fit, but it's too late because you've already dirtied that lid, so now you have to wash that lid and find the right lid every time. Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee the curse of all your baked beans are salt-free and you don't realise until you get them home. Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee the curse of misreading tablespoon and teaspoon every time you look at a recipe. Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee the curse of falling asleep with your arm above your head, and then you wake up and realise that your arm has fallen asleep, but you can't move it. You can't move your arm back because it's asleep, and then you realise that you've been sleeping, your arm has died, and what if it never wakes up again? And so you've got to lose this other arm to pick that arm up and lower it and bring it back down. But then you can't get back to sleep because you're worried, well, what if I put my other arm up there and it also falls asleep? Then what am I going to do? Katie Twitchard, I bestow unto thee the curse of your fitted sheet always coming off in one corner and it always gets tangled up in your foot, and so it looks like your bed's always unmade. These are the curses I bestow unto thee, Katie Twitchard. I'm sorry and I love you. R.I.P. Katie Twitchard. Yuck, gross. Was that the hair one? Is that the one you didn't like, Katie? Every time you wash Tupperware, it still stains. Yes, that's very good, Stephen. Hello, Willie94 _ 420. 420 blaze it. So nice to have you, Willie. Thank you so much for following. That's really sweet of you. Thank you so much. These are so bad. This is a lot of curses. These aren't mild at all. It's the same number of curses. It's been a long time. How am I going to get through life now? I'm so sorry, Katie. Please forgive me. That always happens with my arm. It's not funny. Flossie, you've crossed a line. My apologies, Katie. Flossie has obviously been brewing up a serious curse. It's Willie from Discord. Hey, it's Willie from Discord. Hey, how you doing? I can neither confirm nor deny that I came here after seeing Lady Lindsay tweet it out. Thanks, Willie, and thanks, Lady Lindsay. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. Katie Twitchard says to Smiley, oh, mama, oh, boy. Yuck Fun. Hello, Yuck Fun. It's so nice to see you, Yuck Fun. How you doing? Hello to Yuck. Start again. Hello to Yuck Fun only. I have to do a wet drink, which means I have to go and get some water, which means you all have to wait. What? Don't leave. You gotta wait. You gotta wait for me to just go and get some water. Wait. I'll be right back. Please don't leave. I love you so much. I'll be right back. B.R.B. This is Flossie. Jump scare. Hey, I made it back. Hello, hello. Whiskey's gone on the floor. Katie, if you're still here, do you want to see my puppy? Oh, what a night. Thank you so much, Lady Lindsay. Thanks for bringing Willie. I wish my head could rotate like that. Yeah, it's pretty good. I wish my eyebrows could do that. Come here, Katie Twitchard wants to see you and I want to show off to Katie. Come here, I really want Katie to be my friend. Fucking come here. Come here, baby. Come on. Come on, make Katie be my friend. Look, this is Whiskey. Little Whiskey baby. He's such a sad puppy. He's the saddest boy in London. Saddest boy in this hemisphere. The saddest boy in all the world. What was that noise? What was that noise? Say hi, Katie. Say hello. How are you today? Have you had a nice day? We've been apart all day. Have you been okay? Don't really care. Haven't missed me at all. Don't care. Okay, well that's fine. He doesn't care that I've not been here. Long boy, short leg. Long boy, short leg. Very long boy. Very short leg. Look at these ones. These are meant to be the long ones. Look at how short they are. Look how stupid short your legs are. Why are your legs so short? You're a dum-dum. Whiskey. Small stepper, big cruncher. Whiskey's 8. Dash hand. 37 meters long and 27 centimeters tall. 22 centimeters tall. You're so little. You're a good boy. Oh no, my mug just smashed. You little prick. You did that. Oh no. Oh no. It's fine. Mugs are mugs. Calm down, Whiskey, indeed. Lovely dog is tolerating being on Twitch. He's normally very moody, Long Sands. This is the first time you've seen Whiskey? Princess of Fire, really? Imagine. Oh, it's so nice to see you, my friend. How have you been, Princessa? It's great to have you in. Hello. Nah, he's a diva. Calm down, Whiskey. Exactly. Clatter, pay no attention to the concerning noises off camera. It's just Flossie breaking shit. In my defense, that time it was Whiskey's fault, not mine. Anyway, let's do a loud drink. I'm going to do an extra loud one for all of our lovely reader friends who have come in. So much. I was lurking and moving around the tabs. Saw the two of you and had to come say hi. Thank you, Princessa. Gotta go back to work. Thank you so much for coming to say hi. It's so nice to see you. It's always such a treasure to see you. Good luck at work. Thank you for the gulps, my vine. Hey, Flossie, Whiskey, and all the lovely people. Hello, Duncan. Hello, Duncan, darling. What a time to arrive. The best time of the stream. When we're gulping. I think I'm going to have a Tunnocks tea cake before I read you my story. I really love this book. It's called Light Boxes. And it says on the back, February is persecuting the townspeople. It has been winter for more than 300 years. All forms of flight are banned and children have started to disappear, taken from their beds in the middle of the night. The town's priests hang ominous sheets of parchment on the trees, signed February, and somewhere on the outskirts of the town lives February himself, with the girl who smells of honey and smoke. It's a very, very good book. Hi, Senna. I'm working, but I love you, Flossie and Whisk. Senna, we love you too so much. I hope work's okay for you. Hello to Senna only. Love you so much, Senna. It's great to have you. Let's have a tea cake, and then let's read a fucking story, shall we? Tea cake, then story. Oh my god, what's wrong with me? The worst. I've smashed it now, but it's okay. Hello. Have you never had a tea cake, have you? It's full of things that'll kill you. Escape tea cake. There is marshmallow, yeah. Can I have one? Yeah, I'll post you my last one. Definitely, I'll post it to you. Senna, have you ever had that fluff spread? You know fluff? It's like there's fluff in there. It's not as solid as a marshmallow. I think that's a book that someone else might have already told me I'd like. So I definitely want to read it. It's really good, Long Sands. I'll read you some of it. You can see if you like it. The most serious charge which can be brought against New England is not Puritanism, but February. This book is for Melanie. I'm gonna have to do this. that you can see how beautiful the book is. Let's say bye-bye to our mate. For now, we love you. But oh no. Oh well, it's gone now. Oh no. Who do we have here? None of those. This one. Where are we? This one. This one is the one that we need to get rid of. Okay. Okay. How am I going to read it? Okay. Let's see. Thaddeus. We sat on the hill. We watched the flames inside the balloons heat the fabric to neon colors. The children played prediction. They pointed to empty holes in the sky and waited. Sometimes all the balloons lit up at once and produced the nightly umbrella effect over the town beneath whose buildings were filling with the sadness of February. Nights like this will soon die. It's such a beautiful book. It's got like some tiny font. It doesn't autofocus this camera. We'll work it out. We'll get there. It's a really good book. It's got like all different sized fonts. It's really beautiful. Nights like this will soon die. Scylla whispered in my ear. Days became cooler, clouds thickened. We sat on the hill. We watched the flames inside the balloons heat the fabric to neon colors. Nights like this will soon die, said Bianca. She ran from the woods where she saw 3 children twisting the heads of owls. Nights like this will soon die, said the butchers, marching down the hill. We sat there for the last time to watch the balloons, the neon colours stitched in our minds. Pigs shrieked and windows shattered across the town. A snout, massive and pink, traced the side of a balloon in its arc. The fabric stretched around the dark nostrils and stopped just before tearing, and it stayed there. Still, the children stood in a line with their lanterns raised to watch the first snowfall of February crop over the fields. Selah lowered her head. Selah folded her hands in her lap. Selah looked at the backs of the children's heads and saw ice form knots in their hair. We can only pray, whispered Selah. I looked at Selah and remembered the dandelions stuck in her teeth. I thought of a burning sun, an iceberg melting in her folded hands. They held hands, they formed, dozens of circles around their deflated, smouldering balloons. Balloons, silken globes, and the colours of magenta, grass green, and sky blue were mud-strewn wet with holy water and burned black through the stitching. Bianca said, I don't understand. Thaddeus said, I don't either. This is February's doing, she said. Maybe, said Thaddeus, who looked upon the sky. A scroll of parchment was nailed to an oak tree, calling for the end of all things that could fly. Everyone in town gathered around to read it. Trumpets moaned from the woods. Birds dropped from branches. The priests walked through the town swinging axes. Bianca clutched Thaddeus's leg as he picked her up under the arms and told her to hold him like a baby tree around the neck, and Thaddeus ran. Back outside their home, the balloons were spread out on the ground, baskets hacked by axes. The priests dipped their lanterns into the fabric of the balloons. Thaddeus, Selah, and Bianca and others from town formed a circle by holding hands. February, they repeated until it became a chant, until they all imagined a little tree sprouting through the centre of their burning balloon. Hello PK, my love, how are you today? Hello PK party / chill. Hello to PK party / chill only. Nice to see you. We're trying something new today. We're doing story time. Let me know what you think. Sounds like my Tinder bio. Boy, David, that's a nice one. Hello, Louis, born on a Friday. Lewis, born on a Friday. How are you today? Evening to you as well, my friend. The priests walked down the hill and into town, where they stopped at the town school and the town library. They confiscated textbooks, tore out pages about birds, Flying machines, zeppelins, witches on brooms, balloons, kites, winged mythical creatures. They crumbled up the paper aeroplanes the children had folded, and they dumped the pages into a burning pit in the woods. The priests sank their rusty, spiked shovels into the mound of dirt and refilled the hole. Some of the priests felt tears roll down their cheeks, but didn't feel sadness. Others forced their minds to unravel the memory of wind. They nailed a second scroll of parchment to a second tree oak. It stated that all things possessing the ability to fly had been destroyed. It said that no one living in the town should speak of flight ever again, and it was signed February. Thaddeus, Bianca and Sailor painted. Balloons everywhere that they could, pulled up floorboards and painted rows of balloons onto the dusty oak. Bianca drew tiny balloons on the bottoms of teacups, behind the bathroom mirror, under the kitchen table, and on the inside of cabinet doors. Balloons appeared, and then Sailor painted an intricate intertwining of kites on Bianca's hands and wrists, the tails extending up her forearms and around her shoulders. "How long will February last?" Bianca asked, stretching her hands out to her mother, who was blowing on her arms. "I really have no idea," said Thaddeus, who watched the snow fall outside the kitchen window. In the distance, the snow formed into mountains on top of mountains. "Finished," her mother said. "You will have to wear long sleeves from now on, but you'll never forget flight. You can wear beautiful dresses. That's what you can wear." Bianca studied her arms. The kites were yellow with black tails. The colour melted into her skin. A breeze blew over the fresh ink and through the air. Thaddeus: "I kept a kite hidden in my workshop where the priests couldn't find it. I unfolded the kite from its dusty box and told Bianca she could fly it for a few minutes. I tried to see if the priests were in the woods, but only saw owls sidestepping through the snow. I said to try again after the kite failed to take off. A hand pushed the kite into the ground. She tried a few more times and the kite slammed downward. I saw a cloud shaped like a hand. I thought of Bianca and her happiness like bricks in mud. 'It's February,' said Bianca. I said, 'I'm sorry this didn't work out. We can try again.' 'What's the point?' she said. 'It's the end of flight. It's February.' 'The point,' I said, 'is to keep trying for the sake of trying.' That week we attempted to fly the kite each night, but what felt like wind gust on my skin wasn't enough to carry the kite. I fell into my workshop, grabbed some glass jars, and back outside I handed them to Bianca. I took the kite and I ran as fast as I could. I ran like a madman, my mouth open in a sad air-swallowing attempt. I heard Bianca laughing in the distance, looked for the priests in the woods sharpening their axes, dreamed of Sela and Bianca holding hands with August, carried the kite on my shoulder until I let it go and felt it collapse on my back. I fell face first on the ground, ate snow and mud, tore my knee open on a rock. Back up the hill, Bianca swirled the glass jars through the air. The kites on her arms twitched. "Here," she said, handing me the jars with careful kite-string fingers. "They're full now. Maybe the professor can figure out what is wrong with our sky. Maybe we can figure out February." Bianca: "When I was really little, my father came into my bedroom with a sheet of fabric. He said one day would fly in the sky. 'I'll show you,' he said, sitting down on the edge of the bed, then sliding towards the middle where I sat with my legs crossed. Through my bedroom window I watched a tree lose a branch under the weight of snow that had been falling for months. Before the branch hit the ground, a yellow sheet of fabric floated down over my eyes, and I felt the silk and smelled of oil and stream water. I heard the clank of metal and then hot flame near the back of my neck, and then the fabric lifted from my face and it bloomed into a giant flower that touched the ceiling and grew towards the corners of my bedroom. 'What does this feel like?' my father said. 'It's like being inside one of those globes the shopkeepers make in town,' I said, now standing on the bed, fingertips reaching towards the flower. 'It feels wonderful. It feels like happiness.' 'It will be called,' my father said, 'a balloon.' In the crop field, 4 people are found standing with their heads tilted back and arms frozen to their sides. Eyes closed, their mouths stretched open and filled with snow. Thaddeus was buying apples when he overheard the group of former balloonists known as the Solution. How much can we put up with? How many days will this dreadful season extend itself? Our town is a place of no flight and all snow because of February. There were 5 of them, tall and thin, wearing long brown coats and black top hats. They had thin plastic masks over their faces. Each mask was painted as a different coloured bird. "You," said one of the members, who grabbed Thaddeus's shoulder and turned him around. Thaddeus faced the Solution, holding his basket of apples tight against his chest. "We're starting a rebellion, a war," said a yellow bird mask, "against February and what it stands for." "A war?" repeated Thaddeus. "Yes, a war, a war, a war," the Solution repeated. An orange bird mask continued. "We're sick of February, who we believe is responsible not only for a season of endless grey and snow, but the end of flight." A blue bird mask lurched forward and placed a square of parchment in Thaddeus's coat pocket. He knocked one of Thaddeus's apples out of the basket and into a pile of snow. "Remember us," said the Solution. And they disbanded, walking, dreaming of flying in separate directions. Professor. At the entrance to our town stands the Peter statue. Peter initiated the bird migration. This led to the age of flight, which is a rare time of recorded joy for our town. The sky was a land of balloon travel, bird flight patterns, and flying machine experiments. The afternoons were hot, the evenings cool when we went to the top of the hill to watch the nightly umbrella effect. We walked barefoot through streams. The children exploded in piles of corduroy leaves. We named the changes in weather: spring, summer, fall, and February. Peter believed in the life of flight when he was bound with twine to his balloon by the priest and sent to a deadly altitude. Peter believed that the month of February should be eliminated, that it was possible to move clouds with long poles and extend the seasons of spring and summer. He said it could be taken further, that utopia included a town that only knew June and July. He wrote on archived parchment that if February was allowed to expand, it would infest our moods and kidnap our children. Thaddeus. The Solution came to my window last night. They had on their bird masks and black top hats. They wore a single brown scarf around their necks. I said I understood the need to rebel and protect our town against February. I reminded them of the tactics used last year. Most importantly, they said, think of your daughter, Bianca. I thought that some snow had gathered in a corner of the ceiling. I grabbed a broom to sweep it away. When I turned back around, the Solution was walking away into the snowfall, and it looked like they were skipping. I closed my eyes. I imagined Sela and Bianca in a canoe so narrow they had to lie down with their arms folded on their stomachs, their heads at opposite ends and their toes touching. I dreamed 2 miniature suns. I set one each upon their foreheads. I dreamed a wonderful and a calm lake of my arms below to catch them. Bianca. I know it was important to get up, but my body felt too heavy. My parents stood next to my bed and spoke slowly and moved slower. They said their bladders were being filled with lead and soon it would rise into their chests. My father smiled and ran in place, a tactic used against February last year. But I could see tears in his eyes, and then he stopped. Shoulders slouched forward, head near his knees. Lead poured from his mouth. My parents climbed into bed with me. They smell of mint and my stomach hurt. They held me and told me everything will be fine, that sadness will rise from our bones and evaporate in sunlight the way morning fog burned off the river in summer. My mother rubbed the kites on my hands and arms and told me to think of my lungs as balloons. I just want to feel safe, I said. Thaddeus. The professor told us to protect Bianca, we should feed her mint leaves. In the rare, warm months, we grew as much as we could, taking precious crop space to harvest huge bushels of mint we use in the nightly tea, bath water, and sailor's mint soup. 8 cups of chicken stock, 2 cups of mint leaves, 3 large eggs, half a tablespoon of salt, a quarter of a tablespoon of pepper. 1 second, I'm getting a phone call. Ooh. Jump scare. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for waiting. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Was it January? No, it wasn't January. But you're so close. That's very good, David Shutter. That's very good. I've got so much hair in my dinner, it's insane. Oh no. Did I curse you? Were you too close to Katie Pritchard's open door? Exactly. I'm just a multi little bitch. Hello, thank you all so much for waiting. Would you like to get back to it? It's a great book though, isn't it? Okay. Nuka redeemed to cheer me up. Oh, Nuka, I would love to. Nuka. It makes me really sad to think that you need cheering up because you're such a lovely person. I was saying to Chrissy last night that you're like, what was it that I said? I said that you don't like, well, this is just my impression. I was saying to Chrissy that you're not the kind of person that just sort of like expects the worst of people. You always just assume that people are good until they prove that they're not. And I think that that's a huge reflection on you as a person. And I think just being able to do that is a really fantastic skill that I really admire in you. There's lots of skills that I admire in you. And there's lots of like fantastic personality traits that you have that I really admire. And all of those personality traits bundled in with the fact that you're a bad bitch make me very happy to call you one of my friends. People are good until they're dicks. Yeah, I did use more colourful language when I said it to Chrissy. But yeah, but not everybody's like that, Nuka. That's a really cool way to be. And I really respect that. And I hope the fact that I respect you and love you cheers you up a little bit. Because you're a babe. And I love you. Thank you very much for your redemption and thank you for being here. Found that out hardcore today. Yeah, a couple of us did, Nuka. A couple of us did. Yeah, I'm really sorry and I love you heaps. That's what we were talking about, Chrissy and I. That you're a really good person. That we love you. I would like to say this about Nuka. You know how some people are baddies, wrong-uns? Nuka is the opposite of that. True. True. Nuka is the opposite of that. Love you, Fossy. We love you too, Nuka. Sending you love, Nuka. It's been rough. I'm not crying. Good. Nuka, 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 Nuka. Hey, Nuka. Hey, Nuka. I love you. There you go. Was that nice? Hope that made you feel better. David Shutter has redeemed a yeehaw. Yeehaw! Thank you very much. Get out of the bin. Shall we continue? We read Sailor's Mint Soup. Here we go. At night, Sailor rubs mint leaves into my beard and pats my dry lips with mint leaves. I braid mint leaves into Sailor's hair. I whisper into her ear, "You are my sparrow." Through the night we check on Bianca. When Bianca wakes up screaming against February, Sailor picks her up and holds her and tells Bianca to think of cloudless skies, a moose letting her hang by one hand from his nose. Caldor Clemens. Thaddeus Lowe, the guy who flies balloons. I spend my days collecting sap from the trees, still do, always covered in sap, tree bark splintered under my nails. I'd be in the woods loosening the buckets and I'd hear the sky hissing. I'd look up, I'd see a scrawny guy with a beard in a basket that had a balloon fastened above it. The balloon was yellow, with green stitching. He couldn't have been more than a few feet above the tallest tree. At one point the basket brushed the heads of the trees and pine cones rained down. Gave me a nasty gash on my nose. I tasted blood, but that was no bother. I went up in a balloon once with my sisters and we watched the sun roll across the horizon, clouds going red and pink, colours swirling around us in a mist. I shouldn't be thinking about that anymore because flight is over. Some people in this town say the more thoughts you have about flight, the worse February haunts you. And then there's the priests who have locked away believers of flight someplace at the edge of town. But that's just a dumb rumour. Could be true though. If given the chance, I'd break open the skull of February. I'd swing a nice big bucket of sap right into the side of his head and watch the ice of his mind explode like confetti. I'm going to head off now for an early night. We'll leave you on audio only to drift off to. Love you all. We love you too, PK. Sleep well. Especially you, everyone here. Sleep well, PK. Last night, everyone in town dreamed the clouds fell apart like wet paper in their hands. 6 reports from the priests. Number 1, the solution attempted to fly today. Number 2, they failed. Number 3, to hell with February, one member shouted. The rest cheered. They are allowed... Goodness me. Jump scare! Hi, we made it back. I hope that we didn't scare PK out of being able to sleep. I'm so sorry for that, so many interruptions. What a fly 80s guy. It's really great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. We're doing something different tonight. We're doing story night. I hope you like it. Hello again, Shreddit. How's your day been? Great to have you, What a fly 80s guy. Really great to have you. Number 3. To hell with February, one member shouted. The rest cheered. They are a loud bunch. They wear bird masks. They throw apples through clouds. The balloon collapsed on one side. The flames shot up. The flames spilled out and crawled across the field and up the birch trees where flightless birds burned. Number 5. The snow continues to fall. Number 6. There has been talk of a war. When Thaddeus arrived home, he told Sailor about a war against February. She bathed Bianca in mint water, ran a cloth in circles around her back. I don't know if a war will help anything, she said. It's the solution, said Thaddeus. They have nothing to lose. I don't know. It's something we should consider. For her sake. He tilted his head towards Bianca. Come, said Sailor, and Thaddeus followed her voice as if the words were a hook thrown from the bath water. He knelt down beside the tub and placed his face in the mint water. Bianca felt him close to her back. The water rose to her chin. She remembered what it was like to swim in the river with June. The drain in the tub was a fish biting her toe. Thaddeus held his face in the water long enough for the mint to fully absorb into his beard. There, said Sailor, tugging upwards with a fistful of Thaddeus's hair. Water poured from his beard. Thaddeus walked into the kitchen and made a cup of tea, then went back into the bathroom. He watched his wife continue to bathe Bianca. He made sure to tip the teacup high enough when he sipped so that Bianca could see the balloon painted on the bottom. I love that you're reading. I've been wanting Flossie audiobooks. Thank you for saying that, what a flighties guy. PK says, it's okay, I will just have some sweet nightmares. Good, PK, I'm glad. I'm quite tired today, but I think this cup of coffee might finally be kicking in. That's good, 80s. I'm really glad. Lovely cup of tea. It's really nice to see you, Yock Fun. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry that it's not what we normally do. Bianca whispers into the bathwater. Maybe the priests aren't really priests. Look at the way their silly robes move. Thaddeus tugs on his beard. A little mint water drips on his palm. He rubs his hands together. He walks into Bianca's bedroom and soothes her arms and legs with his hands. The idea that any sadness that occurs during sleep can be decreased by mint into the skin, into the lungs and heart. Thaddeus and Sailor take turns applying the mint throughout the night. Before daybreak, Thaddeus smells honey and smoke coming from Bianca's bedroom. In her room, he notices the window is open and snow is blowing in. He throws the covers off the bed. He looks around the room. He looks under the bed. He looks in the closet. He looks in the hallway. He looks at his feet. He looks at the bed. He looks at the bed. Bianca's bed is a mound of snow and teeth. Bianca is gone. Thaddeus, I've been spending more time alone on the hill. I can't remember it being colder than it is now. The ground is frozen and black, the town windows webbed with snow and ice. When I spark a fire from found branches, a snowball falls from the sky and douses the flame. I look up at the sky, the grey waves rolling along. I'm growing tired and sad at the disappearance of my daughter, and it stirs deep inside me. I snap off a tree branch. I whirl it around in huge circles before letting it fly skywards. It flies up, much higher than I imagined, and climbing higher and higher, it rips through a cloud's leg, peaks in flight, then descends back down, tearing another hole through the cloud. In the first hole there's a pair of feet dangling from the edge. In the second hole there's a man walking around in a dark room. I call down to the house for Sailor, who is shaking out Bianca's bedsheet, which disintegrates into a little blizzard. Am I dreaming right now? I shout. Can you check the bed to see if I'm sleeping? No, you're not dreaming, she yells back after going inside to check our bed. You're standing outside by yourself with your thoughts. Your daughter has been kidnapped and your thoughts are torturing you. Sometimes you wake in the middle of the night from terrible dreams, but right now you are awake. I watch the two holes in the sky until a new breaking of grey rolls across. My mind is ice. Sailor yells, I want our daughter back. Deer run against the edge of the woods. Twisted through their antlers is a long quilt, a banner, and the quilt says, War against February now. War against February now. War against February now. The solution waves from under the pine trees. A man is collecting sap. I hesitate, but wave back. Thaddeus to Bianca. I climb on the roof. Your bedroom is beneath me. I close one eye and reach my hand out and tear open the horizon. I pull the sky up and toward me like an old wallpaper. I see you sleeping in a bed of duck feathers. I close both eyes and finish the dream of us in a balloon. The new sky smells like the ocean. It feels like crushed velvet when you push it against to see the balloon towards your mother waiting on the hill. Questions. Thaddeus asks the children, twisting the heads of the owls, if they have seen a small girl named Bianca in yellow pajamas. The three children sit against an oak tree with their legs stretched out, snow as a blanket to their waists. Do the yellow pajamas have flowers printed at the hem? Asks the middle child. Yes, Thaddeus says. Does the girl have dark hair that smells of honey and smoke? And asks the child to the left. Thaddeus shakes his head. No, he thinks. She never smelled of honey and smoke, but the room did. Yes, the room. The room smelled of honey and smoke. Bianca has dark hair. Her hair doesn't smell of honey and smoke, but the room did. Does the little girl have a drawing of kites on her hands and arms? Asked the child to the right. Yes, says Thaddeus. Her mother painted those kites. Where is my daughter? What has happened to my daughter? The children go back to concentrating on twisting the heads of the owls. No, we haven't seen her, they say. I understand, though, you said, Thaddeus says. Now, if you don't mind, sir, we are much enjoying ourselves by playing with these owls. I hope you find the little girl. She sounds very cute and very beautiful. For the rest of the day, Thaddeus asks every person in town if they have seen his daughter. Everyone says no. The solution walks past Thaddeus. We could help, they say, smiling. The one with the blue bird mask hands Thaddeus an apple, apologizes, then runs to catch up to the group. Sailor and Thaddeus don't sleep. For several days in which they decide a war against February is needed to cure their sadness. They invite the solution to their home, who talk for hours on strategy to destroy February. When they drink their tea, they lift up their bird masks to expose their blue wintered lips. Thaddeus tries not to cry when a yellow bird passes him a list of missing children and asks Thaddeus to please add Bianca's name where there is room. He reads the list over. His eyes fill with tears. He writes down Bianca's name. Will a war bring my daughter back? Asked Thaddeus. The birds all look at one another. It's possible, they say. Anything is possible when you start a war. I want my daughter back, says Thaddeus. I want her back, and I want my wife to be safe. He holds her hand. The catalogue of missing children. Evie Rhodes, taken from her bed on February 127th. Candace Smith, disappeared while feeding birds on February the 175th. Adam Johnson vanished while playing in a closet on February the 112th. John Smith, who disappeared while feeding birds on February the 175th. Daniel Abrams, considered lost in the woods on February 212th. Joyce Akey, drowned while diving for turtles on February the 188th. Joseph Mendler, taken from his bed on February the 139th. Estrella Roberts vanished during a game of hide-and-seek on February the 144th. Emily Boyce, drowned during a snowball fight on February the 222nd. Sarah Locke disappeared in a blizzard on February 247th. Bianca Lowe, taken from her bed on February 255th. Peter Jones never came home from school on February 199th. Jessica Chambers vanished while walking her dogs on February 312th. Susie Peck, taken from her bed on February 322nd. Caldor Clemens. I was Thad's #1 guy during the war against February. That's right, #1, the right-hand man, top wolf or top dog, whatever. I thought Thad was crazed because of the kidnapping of Bianca, but after I noticed a change in the ways of the town during the season of February, I went to his house with the solution to talk about the war. Each week we recruited more and more people from the town, a whole mess of us cramped up there. Everyone drank tea or some shit. I drank vodka with mud. Before Thad spoke, the solution told me he was the one they were looking for to lead the war. He was their guy. He was their wolf to lead this war. All right, I thought, let's see what this guy's got to say. The one thing that really made me want to be part of the war, besides the fact that it was bloody exciting, was that Thad and Professor showed us one night. It was called a mood chart. It explained how our moods change by the seasons. No, I'm not a professor, but it was real clear that something was happening to us during the season of February. The sadness quotient peaked, or whatever it's actually called. Thad pointed to a chart with an ascending line and a frowning face. And to hear about this poor little girl missing, and to see my own kids knocking their heads against a wall all February long, it made me so angry that I decided I would give my heart, my blood, for the war effort. The first attack on February. occurs. Thaddeus, Sailor, Caldor Clemens, and the Solution devise a plan to trick February by pretending it's summer. The men take their shirts off and roll their pants into a ring at their kneecaps and call them shorts. Sailor wears a thin summer dress, the one she wore while on her first balloon trip with Thaddeus. It smells like cedar and grass clippings from the floor of his workshop. The rest of the women wear skirts. They unbutton their blouses and untie their bonnets. The war effort claps while discussing the warm weather. They imagine beams of unfiltered sunlight striking their backs as they tend to the crops. Caldor Clemens pretends to pick berries. He wipes sweat from his brow before diving into a pile of snow and swims. Thaddeus and Sailor move away from the group to make love in the naked snow. They tell each other to concentrate on the ocean teasing their toes, the sand in their hair. Sailor imagines the melting snow between her legs is sweat. Thaddeus licks the ice from her lashes, pushes into the snow. They feel watched and excited. At the end of the day, the group struggles to smile. Their bones are frozen. They walk into Thaddeus and Sailor's home to have tea. Everyone is exhausted, their faces beaten red by February. We should continue with this tactic until we see some progress, says Thaddeus. Everyone agrees by way of tipping their teacup. Do you want to cuddle now? Is that what you're saying? Come on then. Good boy. Sailor. One of the strongest supporters of the war was a man named Caldor Clemens. Clemens was a former member of the group of balloonists known as the Solution. The Solution was a collective of 9 or 10 bird-masked men who refused to obey the laws of the end of flight. The Solution staged free falls off the tops of buildings and tied kites like leashes to shop doors. They were an aggressive bunch. I wanted my daughter back. I wanted my husband to be safe. So when I saw Caldor Clemens, all 7 feet, 300 pounds of him standing at my door with tears running down his cheeks, I pulled him into my house by the wrist and told him that the blame could be placed directly on February, that a war can only help us. This is Caldor Clemens, I said. It's nice to meet you, said my husband. Scraps of parchment found under Sailor's pillow. I want my daughter back. 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 What was that poll? How much of this book is a euphemism? None stop being dirty. Teacups. Every single noun. Only the bits with Thad. You guys are wild. It's just a book about February. I want my daughter back, daughter back, daughter back, daughter back, daughter back, ribs. That's class, Schaefer Sam. I love that. Hello, Schaefer Sam. Hello to Schaefer Sam only. Love you, Sammy. Nice to see you, mate. Thaddeus. Today I took a trip down into town with Caldor Clemens. The air was cold and smelled like apples. Hey, Wycove! It's a raid from Wycove. How's it going? Oh my goodness, how you doing, Wycove baby? It's great to see you. Hello to Wycove only. Nice to see you, Wycove. Hello. It's Andy C. Hi, Andy C. Hello to Andy C. only. So great to see you, Andy C. How you doing? Bradley Tiernan. Hi, Brad. Hello to Bradley Tiernan only. Great to see you, Brad, my dude. Hey. And another dude. Hello, KB Maz, my lad. How you going? Hello to KB Maz only. Great to see you, KB Donadia. Hello, Donadia Bobby. Hello to Donadia only. We're doing something different tonight. I'm just reading my favorite book. It's called Light Boxes, a novel by Shane Jones. It's really good, although everyone thinks it's a euphemism. But we're reading. We're just chilling for a read before the Wednesday night special. It's only fucking Shaman Steve. Hello, Shaman Steve. How the fuck are you? Really great to see you, Shaman Steve. How are you going? So glad you're here. Hello, hello. Thanks for coming along. It is different to usual. We're just chilling, having a nice read before the Wednesday night special. Thank you for coming along. Thaddeus. Today I took a trip into town with Caldor Clemens. The air was cold and smelled like apples. I saw a fox sitting on a mailbox. He had duck feathers in his mouth. People asked about the war against February. We couldn't answer the questions fast enough. The crowd circled us 10 rows deep. Here, said Clemens, and he knelt down. Feeling somewhat foolish, I climbed onto his shoulders, where I sat perched high above the crowd once he stood. I told the townsfolk that the war against February is a necessity, as necessary as the air that we breathe. If we refuse to fight back, the cold and grey will settle like an endless blanket of rocks. I told them to remember what it was like to hold hands with May. I told them to remember what the stream sounded like outside their bedroom windows, the water pouring over August rocks, the birds calling from branches of green, dogs howling in the plains. I told them to close their eyes and ignore the snow melting on their faces, but to remember what it looked and felt like when they woke in the morning to the sun draped over their beds, over their bare feet. Clemens reached up and grabbed me around my ribs. He lifted me from his shoulders with a strange grace and elegance and placed me back on my own 2 feet. Great speech, Thad. Really, really, really good. Clemens punched me in the shoulder. It left a bruise the shape of a mallet's head. Where's the Wednesday night special? Oh, the Wednesday night special is a show by Just Stevesy. It's a great show. It's really, really good. We're going to raid him at 10:30, so you'll be able to see it then, Holes, but it's absolute class. You are in for a treat, that's right. It's Just Stevesy's Twitch show. It's the best. He does 1 show a week, and it's always fantastic. Holly, I hurt all over, and I don't know if it's age or the vaccine. Anybody else get arthritis-type pain all over there after the Pfizer? Chrissy says he was achy all over after, yeah. And Dyra says I hurt everywhere and was too tired to sit up. I had AZ though. Donnie says, in it. Thanks for still being here, Donnie baby. Caldor Clemens. Thad paused for a moment. The smell of mint leaves rose like smoke from his skin. Then he mumbled a few positive comments. Life is good. People laugh with July. February is nothing because February is shit. He didn't really say that last one. I said that. The smell stopped. He pointed at the sky. He told me to look for a girl's feet through a hole. He said that they could be Bianca's. I didn't see anything but clouds suffocating little stars. We watched for a few minutes until he said that a man and a woman were in a second hole. Still, I didn't see a damn thing. Thad said that the man and woman were fighting, throwing balls of paper at each other. I kept looking. Crazy to think about holes in the sky, but maybe I did see 2 shadowy figures in the one hole. Who knows? I was drunk on cider, vodka, and mud. Orange bird mask. Today we go up the hill with our weather-changing poles. Some of them are 50 feet long, requiring a dozen men to raise them. The idea is to destroy the clouds that cover the sun, an old Peter tactic that had never had the chance to try. It fails because when we realize the weather poles, an ice storm freezes them together. They blow down the hill and towards the town. One weather pole spikes the shopkeeper's window. By night time we feel the sadness inside us that is February. I can smell the mint evaporating from Selah and Thaddeus. Not every tactic will be effective against February, Thaddeus says. Everyone stay positive. The war effort has doubled since the great Thaddeus's speech. We now have blacksmiths and sculptors and farmers and a little person and beekeepers, and most of them have lost their children to February. Most of them can't unclench the fingers into fists that are their hearts. Go home and make a large fire, Thaddeus tells us. Warm yourself with your sweat soaked through your clothes. Thaddeus. February has destroyed dozens of our limbs. Infected men stay in bed where they are sad and useless. The rest of us stay up at night sketching plans for a new war strategy. We take turns pacing, crumpling paper, disregarding each idea that springs from our cold mouths. Sailor makes tea with 2 crossed mint leaves floating on top of each cup. Without an idea, we question if we should even continue our daily assault of warm weather tactics. A few of the men have dressed for the day in long pants and sweaters. They throw up their hands and walk out the door. Sailor is standing in the doorway trying to make out the mountains behind the clouds. She drops her teacup. Then she says I should come look. I walk over and she points to the feet and raises her finger up to the roofs of the town. The hot tea has burned a path through the snow from our front door and down into the town. Holly says, oh, Shaman Steve says, yeah, I was achy for about a day after Pfizer. I think I didn't hydrate enough. Second jab. First jab, there wasn't much. Holly says, I had it on Friday, but didn't really start to hurt until yesterday. It generally could be age, though. Bradley says, I'd like to have a jab, starting to think I'll never get the call. Chrissy asked Brad if they'd signed up. My doctor's supposed to contact patients. Just try to book online, you might be able to. Bradley, see if you can sign up. First one I got from the doc, but the other I didn't. I'll call them on Monday. My parents have both had their second ones now. They find Bianca dead on the riverbank. 2 members of the war effort drag her from the water and place her limbs at her side, rest her head on a rock. The members stare. She's covered in blue ink, random letters they can't form into words. When they tell Thaddeus the smell of mint leaves is so strong it turns the windows in town green and the clouds look like moss. Thaddeus tries to decipher words, hopes for a complete sentence. He sends a messenger for the professor. The only word the professor can make out is owls. You should know that I would like to join the war against February, says the professor. Fine, says Thaddeus, buttoning his coat. In a few days you should call a meeting. There is something you need to see, the professor says. It's a tactic against February. I think it could help. Very well, says Thaddeus. A meeting tomorrow at my home. Goodbye. The professor's plan for flight. Boxes was a mess of equations and diagrams, nearly 300 parchment sheets long. He didn't sleep for days, using Thaddeus's workshop to construct the first light box. When the pounding of metal, the sawing of wood, the breaking of glass, the tearing of paper stopped on the night of the 5th day, he emerged with his face covered in black grease and arms bloodied. It's finished, he told Thaddeus. He picked glass from his knuckles with his teeth and spit them out. Let's begin the meeting so I can explain the effectiveness of light boxes. The war efforts gathered. They watched the professor lift the light box over his head and set it down until it was tight against his shoulders. In his right hand he held a dented metal box that had a cord attached. Lifting the metal box, he said in a muffled voice, Now this is the power supply that when switched will simulate the light of the sun, which we haven't seen in a year. The box itself was constructed of wood fastened at odd angles with metal clamps, except for the front, which was a panel of glass. The top of the glass was where the light was going to shine. Bulbs, the professor called them. As he toggled the switch, everyone could see the sadness and frustration in his face, his eyes looking up at the bulbs as his head jerked from side to side. The switch clicked uselessly. He violently shook the metal box. He clutched the sides of his head and lost his balance a little. Then the stench of burning leaves and the bulbs bloomed crystal white across his face. The war effort cheered. Some ran out into the snow-filled plains to mock the sky. Others took turns lifting the box over their head, letting the light soak into their winter beards, their tongues tasting the blood from their splitting lips. I'm not familiar with this book, but February can get fucked. I really like February. I love this book. Fair enough. All my homies hate February. I'm sorry that I don't hate February, but can I still be your homie? KB. Reading dries you out, man. Are you all having a nice time? Should we keep doing this on Wednesday nights? Let's have a look. What are we sipping? I got me a Coke Zero. Can check. You'll always be my homie. Thank you, KB. That's very nice of you. When Thaddeus went back into the woods, the 3 children weren't there. Thaddeus looked up and saw the owls on a branch. He asked them if they had seen the 3 children. Owls can't speak, and Thaddeus felt foolish. He walked around looking for footprints. A parchment was nailed to a tree. It stated that the 3 children had been kidnapped and should be added to the catalogue of missing children. It was signed February. Thaddeus saw footprints leading from the tree. They stretched several yards, then formed a circle. They continued straight, then another circle, then straight again. After each circle was a new type of footprint: bear, deer, squirrel, human. The footprints continued this way as far into the woods as Thaddeus could see. It's Pepsi, that's right, Smiley. It is Pepsi. List written by February and carried in February's corduroy coat pocket. 1. I'm not a bad person. I have enjoyed June, July, and August like everyone else. 2. I fed you dandelions and picked the stems from your teeth with my tongue. 3. You smell of honey and smoke. That's what I call you. Girl who smells of honey and smoke. But you're more than that. You're a field of dandelions. 4. I have this nightmare where I'm standing in the field of dandelions holding a scythe. The horizon is children marching. Each child holds one of your teeth. 5. I'm so confused it almost feels calm. 6. I'm not guilty of kidnapping children. I'm guilty of Bianca and causing great pain to Thaddeus and Sailor and the town. 7. I want to be a good person, but I'm not. Thaddeus. The first hot water attack takes place from our home on the hill. We spend the first night filling large buckets with boiling water. We keep them hot by lighting small fires with piles of tree branches. We pour the buckets downhill towards the town. A cloud of steam rises into the sky as wide, empty trenches expand into the snow. The war effort applauds like they are watching theatre. For a moment, yellow streaks the sky. When I angle my face into the rays of sun, I notice the sky is trembling around one of the holes. I see footprints running from the first to the second hole where the dangling feet are no longer visible. I tell Sailor to woke up. She does, but she says she doesn't see anything except the clouds separating a little. And then the sky flutters like a flag, and it goes black like curtains of wool. Bianca. I could be in an underground cell. I could be dead. I miss air. I miss my father and mother. Every once in a while the darkness disappears and I can see a man for a few minutes, like yesterday when yellow streaked the room. He's tall with hips like mine. I believe this is February. He doesn't wash himself or clean his clothes. His hair is thick and uncombed, his beard scraggly, his pants torn, his shirt a faded grey. He sits at a desk or walks around the small room where he lives and where I stay hidden behind furniture. He cries a lot too. Sometimes he just sits at his desk staring at the blank sheets of paper in front of him. Opens up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find reaching for something in the distance, so close you can only taste it, Release your inhibition. Feel the rain on your skin. But eventually he'll move and write something down and get up and walk around again. February drinks too much coffee. In the afternoon he eats food that's 2 thick slices of bread with a gooey substance and animal parts on top. February is happy when he eats this meal. Sometimes the animal parts fall off the bread and onto the floor, but February doesn't mind. He just reaches down and picks them off the dusty wood floor and eats. One time I saw him staring out the window at the snow falling, and he started to cry really loud. There are 2 holes in the floor. Sometimes I sit on the edge of one. Sometimes I think of jumping down. Thaddeus curled himself around the backside of the sleeping sailor. In a hazy voice she asked if they would know June again. Thaddeus closed his eyes and saw the town burn to the ground as he nodded his nose down the bumps of her spine. He opened his eyes. He thought of Bianca. When he fell asleep, he dreamed of the clouds falling apart, the town starting anew. And when he woke in the morning, he tried to remember the dream, but couldn't, no matter how long he spent on the hill with his eyes shut. "Sailor," he yelled down the hill towards their home. "Do you remember the dream I had last night?" Sailor was pouring buckets of hot water around their home. She yelled back that she didn't remember, but it was probably about balloons. "Of course," said Thaddeus. "I would dream about balloons in flight. Thank you." Sailor wished for a moat to protect her home from February. Sailor wished for the end of February and endless sadness and the end to missing children. Sailor wished for the rebirth of town and flight. Sailor wished for a scrap of something beautiful. Everyone in chat, could you please let me know when Steezy goes live? Please. Thaddeus, after 3 days of dumping hot water by single buckets, our arms are long bruises, unable to handle the turning of the sparrowhead faucet. Caldor Clemens invents the water trowel horse system. He works for 2 days hacking down oak trees and carving out the trunks with knives and axes. When he finishes, the wooden trowel is 3 times longer than our home. It stretches to the middle of where the cornfields used to grow. Clemens shows us how to stick bits of glass to the bottom of the trowel with sap from the birch trees he has collected in buckets. The trowel itself won't catch fire this way, he says, and lights a small fire beneath it. The water simmers. Clemens brings 6 horses up the hill and harnesses them with leather straps to the trowel he has readied with boiling water. He raises his hand and with the other sticks his fingers in his mouth and whistles louder than I have ever heard a man whistle. The horses bolt forward, sending a wave of water rushing towards the town, melting the snow into slush. We continue the attack for the rest of the week until the streets clear. We want unfrozen land, and the snowfall melts into the soil like a massive tongue. The children say the clouds look like rippling snails. The holes in the sky turn pink, and a body falls from the sky into the river. The war effort, their fingers sticky with sap, point to the sky, shouting for the death of February. February sat on a cottage floor with a girl who smelled of smoke and honey. The girl was telling him that she was tired of being around someone who carried so much sadness in his body. February drew his kneecaps to his eye sockets. February apologized. He rocked back and forth. When he stretched his legs back out, the girl was smiling and running in place. February asked what she was doing. The girl who smelled of honey and smoke said it was to cheer him up. "I don't think that's going to work," said February. "I'm sorry, but it just won't." "Just try it," said the girl who smelled of honey and smoke. "Please." February stood up and ran in place. His joints popped. He bumped into a table, knocking over a jug of water. "Looks like a flood," said the girl who smelled of honey and smoke, who pumped her legs and arms faster. "It does," said February, who watched the water expand across the table and drip onto the floor with great delight. War Member 6, Green Bird Mask. The hot water worked better than we imagined. There was some flooding on account of the melted snow, but we used most of it to refill the buckets. February is breaking apart at the horizon seams. There are few clouds. The sky is a soft blue. The children's cheeks are flushed red from the sun. People in town laughed today. Someone even skipped. The first sprouts of green crops can be seen on the hillside. The town feels alive and productive again. We've won an early battle against February, but we know anything can happen. For instance, there have been reports from the messengers that dark clouds are cascading from the mountain peaks. Grizzly bears were seen buttoning their deerskin coats in case of freezing temperatures. The carpenters have boarded up their windows and refused to leave their homes. They mumble sadness. Sadness sounds like bubbles blowing slowly in stream water. The girl who smelled of honey and smoke enjoyed collecting old books on plants. One night while out on the cottage porch on the swinging bench with February, she opened to a chapter on vines and moss. One page had 12 different pictures of skinny green vines climbing the side of a Victorian brick house. When the girl stood up to go inside and check on the pot roast, she kissed February on his forehead. February flipped through the plant book until he stopped at a picture that showed a deer skeleton in a forest, spores of moss covering the white bone. In only a week, the caption read, "This deer skeleton will be blanketed with a spongy green moss." The girl came back outside. She asked if he found anything interesting. She said the pot roast was ready. February nodded. He said that he liked the idea of moss. Thaddeus. Spores of moss appeared on the horse's feet and layers of green grew on their legs and back. Selah spent her nights trying to defend against the attack of moss by pulling it out in patches and then soothing the horse's bloody flesh with wet magnolia petals. We continued the water trough attacks until the moss collapsed each horse. A dark green blanket grew over their eyes. Selah couldn't destroy the moss with her hands anymore because it was too thick. It was now bigger than each horse. She slept next to the dying horses until the moss made its way down their throats. After the horses died, the moss moved its way from the woods and up the hill towards our home. Caldor Clemens swung the scythe like he was chopping wheat from an advancing crop field. He screamed and swore against February. 2 priests came to sprinkle holy water on our home. They looked confused. The sky turned green, then black, then green again. A wolf stood on its hind legs and ripped open its stomach. Ants carrying cubes of moss crawled out. Eventually, we tried. Clemens and I and the war effort moved inside my home and barricaded the doors with our backs. Then the moss moved its way under the door and over our boots. Short list found in February's back pocket. 1. I've done everything I can. 2. I need to know you won't leave. 3. I wrote a story to show love and it turned to war. How awful. 4. I twisted myself around stars and poked the moon where the moon couldn't reach. 5. I'm the kind of person who kidnaps children and takes flight away. We can pick it up there next week. We've read half the book. And we can go see Steepsy now, which is going to be great. /RAID. Just. Stiffers. Hey, Bombs! Oh, baby. Thank you so much for the sub, my love. That's really sweet of you. Thank you. Hello. Thank you so much. What's the book called again? The book's called Light Boxes. It's one of my favourite books. I love it. I love it so much. It makes me really happy. Oh, thank you, Long Sands. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much for cheering 100 bits. Oh, thank you. I loved it too. I had a great time. Thanks so much. Please read to me every night. I probably could do that. Been lurking for a bit. Ideal evening wind down stuff. Thank you, Barmies. You're a babe. That's really sweet of you to say. Thank you. Anyone else hearing Flossie right now over the music track of Stevesy's starting screen? Mashes up very nice. I'm so glad. Thank you for the soft read, Floss. Thanks for coming, Andy C. I love you guys. It's been so great to see you. if you decide to come along to the Wednesday night special, I hope we have a great time. We're going to do a soft read, soft raid. That sounds perfect, Holly. That sounds really nice. For Weird Nightmares of Moss. Thank you, Shaman Steve. Oh, I love you guys. Hopefully see you again. Tomorrow, I'll do a stream during the day, and we can do some drawing. Sounds good. I love you guys. Have fun, and I'll see you there. Mwah. Love you.